Hi, this is Keith Weaver with the Top Executive Strategy Podcast, where CEOs, COOs, and business owners share strategies for success. This is 6 questions in 9 minutes because the best strategies are concise business advice. And with that, we're going to jump right in with our first question. In a few sentences, tell us who you are and what you do.
I'm Rob Cornilles. I'm the founder and CEO of GameFace Incorporated, and we take people who are new to sales and we teach them how to love it. And we take people who are veterans of sales and we work with them so that their customers love them.
There's a lot of people that don't love sales, so I imagine that's a challenge for some.
And people who don't love salespeople. So,
that's true too.
So we flip that on its head through the methodology that we've devised over the last 25 years.
Awesome. Great. So question number 2, what's the best thing about being a business leader?
Well, I think the best thing is that, first of all, your eccentricities are oftentimes just kind of blown off as brilliance. You know, you can sound smarter than sometimes you are, or people just trust that you're smarter than you are, even though we're all learning together. But I think the greatest thing in all seriousness is that you're in a position to see and help people feel and recognize their own potential and then make a contribution to help them achieve that potential. And it's not only rewarding for them and their life and their livelihood and their career, but it's really every business leader should view themselves as a coach, and nothing's greater than to see your people, the people you coached, celebrate when they win.
All right. Question number 3. I hear from other leaders that a lot of time their people strategy in their business can be more difficult than the actual business strategy that they have in their business. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I think that's a fair statement. This year, 2020, has proven to be an anomaly in business because so much has changed so dramatically, so quickly. Normally, however, in most businesses, the business cycle is kind of like an aircraft carrier. You can kind of see what's coming out ahead of you. You can make the necessary adjustments. You have time to do that. However, working with people is like working with wave runners, not aircraft carriers, because they can turn on a dime. And I don't mean that they are, moody. I simply mean that the conditions of life and how personalities interact with each other every day can change very, very quickly. One misspoken word in a meeting, or one bad experience with a customer, or one unfortunate phone call from home can change the day instantly, not only for that individual, but for the whole dynamic of an office or an organization. So being able to adjust, to be flexible and nimble as a business leader to those dynamics of people, and being able to work through it patiently, but not necessarily adopt the emotionalism of it, but being calm and steady and measured, that's difficult. And most of us are prone to get caught up in personalities and emotions. But just having that professional patience, as I would call it, to recognize that even when people issues, in time, this too shall pass. And just knowing how to handle that in a calm, measured way to show your leadership and to show your overall vision, that's a challenge. And if we can master it, we become great business leaders.
All right. Question number 4. What strategy would you like to share with other business leaders?
Well, I have a bias here because for over 25 years, I have been in the coaching business of executives, particularly those on the sales and the service side of industry. And I guess I would say to all business leaders listening or watching, if you and your team are not growing intellectually, you're probably dying mentally. And so though we go to school and we learn a trade, we learn a craft, we learn a discipline or a function, when we get into the workforce and when we start, paddling against the headwinds and against those big waves crashing against our business, we need to constantly find ways to learn how to overcome that. And it comes through skill development, in my opinion. We often hire people because of who they are, and we fire them because of what they can't do. And so if we can in fact work as leaders to teach people the things that they need to do to be successful, constantly and continuously coaching them, developing skills that make them more confident in every situation, that make them more appealing to customers and clients and prospects, that is a thing that we can never rest on. We can never say, well, we had a great week, we had a great month, we had a great year, because chances are your competition is looking at that and they're devising ways to beat you. So it's that continual development of human intellectual capacity, of skill development. That is the one principle I think that salespeople, sales leaders, and business leaders in general need to constantly embrace and work their best to ensure that that's a part of their culture.
Well, and I think that a lot of times as humans, we like getting in a comfort zone, and that's the exact opposite. We try to get in a comfort zone, feel comfortable with our level of skills, our level of, intellect, our where we're at, and it's not necessarily intuitive, so to speak, to always be growing and developing. But like you said, extremely important.
Well, as I said earlier, Keith, I've always been a coach for my clients. And if we were an athletic coach, and let's say I spent a couple of days, or let's just use an athletic analogy. Let's say that I spent fall training camp with you and your team. And then I push you out into the field of competition, but then I disappear. You don't see me for 6 weeks or 6 months or 6 years. If that was true in the athletic world, that coach would be a nut. That coach would get fired. And that team would struggle because they would not necessarily have that objective point of view necessary when all those headwinds start hitting them and when the competition is giving them plays they did not anticipate. So having that continual coach is an important business principle. You can provide it from an external source, like what my company GameFace does, or you can do it internally, or best yet, use both resources, both internal and external, so they can be complementary to one another. They can see each other's blind spots and cover for those blind spots. Your team will be better for it.
Question number 5, what other successful business owners, CEOs like yourself, would you like to acknowledge here or you think would be good on the podcast?
Well, someone that will surprise you. He's a film and television actor. His name is Glenn Morshower. A lot of people know him. He starred on the series 24 with Kiefer Sutherland. He's a friend of mine, and he is a great coach himself. He trains actors, but he also trains business people. He's a fascinating individual with a lot of great stories and ideas.
Okay, well, we'll look him up. Well, with just a few seconds left, question number 6, a final fun question. Tell me about your favorite past boss.
Well, I've been a business owner for so long that it's been a long time since I had a boss, but I will tell you, I have my own coach. His name is Trevor Crane, and he motivated me and inspired me to finish my book, which is called The Sales Game Changer, How to Become the Salesperson People Love. And Trevor has really a style and an intellect that got me to where I wanted to be. And now this book has become an international bestseller.
Well, hey, it has been great having you on today. Real quickly, before we leave, tell people how they can find you.
GameFaceInc.com is our website. I always would invite people to reach out to me on LinkedIn, Rob Cornilles. And then, of course, they can order the Sales Game Changer on Amazon. It's available. And really excited to share the information with your listeners and followers.
And we so appreciate you being on and taking your time. And with that, this is Keith Weaver, and this is the Top Executive Strategy Podcast. And for more insights, you can follow us on iTunes or at Weaver Business Coaching or on LinkedIn. And we wish you the best success.